gentlemen, it is spooky season. All right, everybody knows and loves Halloween, I am sure. Okay, just to get dressed up, have candy. All right, but how many of you know what Dia de los Muertos is? Fantastic, especially if you have kids with the recent movies coming out. You probably do. So, I decided to talk about it. This button is not working. You told me it was going to work.
You just gotta believe.
So these are a couple reasons why I picked this, and I only did this slide because I absolutely love this template that I found. Okay, so my husband's side of the family, he is Hispanic and Navajo. So all 13 of his aunts and uncles fluently speak Spanish. Half of them were raised in New Mexico, right outside of the border. So I was very excited. All right, as we already discussed, it is spooky season. It is right there. So what better timing to talk about it, am I right? Okay, and with the movies I've previously mentioned, it has made a resurgence into pop culture. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to talk about 3 things. When is it celebrated and how? So like what days are you going to see it? How close, how far away is it from Halloween? Where did it come from? Where did it originate? Has it always been like that? And 3, what are some of the symbolism that you find associated with the holiday? Some of the things you often see when you look up Dia de los Muertos. What are they? Okay. All right, so when do we celebrate Dia de los Muertos? Okay, a lot of places have like an opening night. Okay, they have a festival or a parade of some kind on our Halloween, just to kind of kick off the show. It's a multi-day festival where they dance and they dress up and they paint their faces and candy skulls are everywhere. It's beautiful. Okay, so we get to the first official day. Also, the Day of the Dead, the actual Day of the Dead. Okay? So, the Day of the Dead, we are welcoming the return of our ancestors. The souls of the previously deceased come back to visit us. Okay? And specifically on November 1st is when the spirits of the children arrive. They come separately, which I thought was very cool. Okay? So, and then the next day, November 2nd, is All Saints' Day. That is a very important Catholic holiday, which I'm not really going to go into because that's not my jam. Okay? Now, as you go around Central and South America, and even the lower parts of the United States, you are going to find subset days. I think that's the best word I could come up with for it. Okay, so they have certain places that actually start as early as September 29th, the day of the Feast of St. Michael. And also it's the first time that the corn kind of starts to mature, so they are getting their ancestors' blessings on their harvest. Like, okay, way to keep everybody involved, right? Okay? The Puebla peoples, they celebrate on the 18th specifically for family members and friends who have died violently. Car crashes, violence, tragic accidents, okay? Things that aren't consistent with normal death, right? And I think that's very sweet that they take that into consideration for those people. Okay? We talked about the lost children versus the adults who have passed, the first and the second. All right, the origin story. Now, a lot of scholars found that the indigenous Central and South American cultures, the Aztecs, the Mayas, the Olmecs, you're all familiar with these people? Okay, they started this tradition. They started these rituals and things to honor their dead. Okay? And then, as we all know, we were conquered. Okay, Spanish conquistadors came into the region and they overtook their holiday. Okay, their holiday that used to take place in May got replaced with All Saints Day. I love those Spanish Catholics, right? They are so kind. Okay, so time goes on, they're celebrating All Saints Day instead, and then Mexico gains their independence. Okay? And so they have generations of people who have been celebrating All Saints Day, and while they do still honor the dead with that, it's not quite the same. So they incorporate all of their previous traditions that they could recall with the Pan de los Muertos and the candy skulls and the ofrendas, and they combine all of these traditions that they learned from the Catholics and they learned from their ancestors to what we know today as Dia de los Muertos, which I find to be really beautiful. There's a lot of enmeshing of cultures these days, and I think that's really great. Okay. So, some of the symbolism that we see around Dia de los Muertos. Okay. So, the candy skulls. Okay. There are a lot of parallels to the Eucharist in the Catholic tradition, as with Dia de los Muertos and their candy skulls. They each represent a departed soul. So, you're going to have one for each person in your family. Okay? So you're going to see a lot of marigolds, these pretty, pretty bursting orange flowers. I think they kind of look like fireworks. Okay? Those are meant to guide your family back home. Okay? They serve as kind of a light, if you will. All right. The Pan de Muerto. Don't have a picture on this page, I have it on the next page. But that is bread of the dead. And it is usually shaped like bones and skulls, or it's a circle with bones on it. It's really very beautiful. And that is what you offer to your family when they come back to you. Okay? Your ofrenda, that's your altar. That's where all of these offerings go. Okay? Where you put them, your candles, your candy skulls, your bread, your marigolds. It's like a big beacon that says, hey, we're here. They can always find you even if you move. And of course your pictures. You have to have pictures of them. That way they know they got the right family. Okay? And there's one ofrenda right there. And there's two more. So you see how we got these little bone structures right here in the middle of the bread with your candy skull. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. So we have this resurgence into pop culture.
Is November 2nd. Does anyone here know why that date is important?
Taco Tuesday!
No. Today is the Day of the Dead. La Muerte. She is made out of sweet sugar candy. She loves all mankind and believes that their hearts are pure and true. Zebub. He's made out of tar and everything icky in the whole world. That charming rascal thinks mankind is not so pure, just like him. On this festive, enchanted day, families bring food and offerings to the altars of their beloved.
It's like 100 birthday parties!
Yes, it is.
Young sir, may I please have some of your bread? I'm so hungry.
This bread is for my father.
And it's delicious.
day, I read a beautiful article by Gina Franco. Her and her family lost their entire home in a house fire. I'm like, well, what does this have to do with the Day of the Dead? Well, as they were going through the rubble, they kept finding family photographs that were kind of like singed on the edges, but you could still kind of make it out. So as a way of healing, they created a makeshift ofrenda with all of these beautiful, damaged, still be beautiful even if you're damaged, photographs. And they celebrated Day of the Dead as a way to kind of heal from the trauma that they had experienced in losing their family home. And I thought that was really beautiful. Reconnecting with your roots to heal trauma is kind of becoming a thing these days, where you reconnect with your past to help you heal your future. And here is a picture of my house, actually, in my house. Okay, so I believe my grandma told me this was St. Joseph, and I put all of the photos and funeral programs of our family members who have passed since my husband and I have been together. So, like my great uncle, his step grandma, his uncle, 2 more uncles. This one right here, I really wish I kind of got a better picture because it's my favorite piece. That is a photograph of my grandfather with a bear that he shot and killed on the property we live on. So both their spirits are hanging around over there. So I feel like this was a good way to reclaim a little piece of my husband and now my children's heritage. You know, bring back a little piece of honoring that part of them. So, thank you very much.